Well, folks, it's official. The multiverse isn't the only thing collapsing at Marvel Studios. Turns out it's also the respect, and more importantly, the money that they're giving to the actors who literally built the Marvel Cinematic Universe brick by brick. Jeremy Renner, aka Hawkeye, aka the Avenger with zero powers and 100% sass, has just gone public about the Marvel Disney offering him, wait for it, half of what he was originally paid to return for a second season of Hawkeye. And let's not forget, this is the man who just a year ago was nearly flattened by a 14,000-pound snowplow. No, this isn't satire. This isn't a Marvel What If episode. This is the real life Marvel Civil War that they don't want you to know about. Marvel Civil War 2, Paycheck Boogaloo. The interview that dropped a bomb. Jeremy Renner recently sat down for an interview in 2025. Candid, calm, and let's be real, just a little salty. And dropped a truth bomb worthy of Stark Tech. According to sources like IndieWire and People magazine, Disney offered him 50% less to reprise his role in Hawkeye Season 2 for twice the work in half the time than what he made in Season 1. Let me say that again. Half. Not somewhat reduced, not slightly adjusted due to streaming trends, just flat out have. His response, "Oh, I'm sorry. What, did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I was run over by a snowplow?" And honestly, that's a fair question. The accident that changed everything. Let's rewind a bit, shall we? In early 2023, Renner was involved in a horrific accident when he was run over by a snowplow while trying to help his nephew. The result, 35 bones shattered, multiple surgeries, titanium implants, grueling rehab that would even make Wolverine tap out. This guy didn't just survive, he clawed his way back to health, training himself to walk, move, act, and live again. And the studio's thank you card for that resilience? A lower offer with twice the workload and half the time, because not only was he getting paid less, he was expected to do more work, more screen time, more physicality, more PR work, more work for half the cash. You could practically hear Bob Iger's internal monologue. Let's save money by using guilt and nostalgia. It's the Disney way. Bob Iger responds, badly. Speaking of Bob Iger, Disney's CEO and part-time dream crusher has finally responded to all this with a statement that may go down in history as the Marvel version of "let them eat cake." He said, "There's a level of expectation that's just not realistic." Translation, these actors want too much money for saving the universe, and we've got theme parks to build, thank you. But let's talk expectations for a second. Jeremy Renner, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, these aren't new actors trying to cash in. These are the faces of the Marvel franchise. They are the reason that Marvel Cinematic Universe went from kinda cool to global empire with merchandise on your grandma's freaking fridge. So when Bob says expectations are unrealistic, what he's really saying is, we don't want to pay you what you're worth anymore. We already squeezed the juice from that lemon, not just Renner. A pattern of pay disrespect. And guess what? It's not just Renner. Chris Hemsworth is reportedly lukewarm about returning as Thor. Scarlett Johansson already had to sue Disney just to get paid fairly for Black Widow. The writing is on the wall, and it's in red. Maybe not Red Skull red, but still. Actors like John Malkovich have previously passed on Marvel roles for years, citing terrible pay and over-demanding work schedules. Malkovich once said, "If you're going to hang me from a crane in front of a green screen for 6 months, you're going to have to pay me." Honestly, iconic. And then there's Hugo Weaving, who played Red Skull in Captain America, the first Avenger. Marvel wanted him back. I mean, who wouldn't? He said no. Why? Same reason. Money and the studio's disrespect for the workload they expect. Carrie Coon, who played Proxima Midnight, also distanced herself from Marvel's machine for similar reasons. This isn't just a few spoiled actors with inflated egos. This is a chorus of seasoned professionals all saying the same thing. Marvel doesn't value the people who make the magic happen. The Renner dilemma. Love the character, hate the system. What stings the most in Renner's interview is that he still genuinely loves Hawkeye. He loves the character. He loves the fans. He just doesn't love Disney's math. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "This isn't Marvel anymore. This is Disney screwing over the creative team that made them billions." Let's put that into perspective. We're talking about the guy who helped build the MCU from the ground up, who stood next to Cap, Thor, and Iron Man on the front lines of pop culture dominance, who trained an entire generation of archers with one arm, 3 screws in his leg, and the grit of 1,000 dads who built tree houses with no blueprints. And now he's being told he's worthless because he dared to survive? What's next? So where does this leave us? We're watching a slow, awkward divorce between Marvel's original Avengers and the studio that once proudly printed them on every lunchbox in America. What started as a dream collaboration has now become a corporate standoff, complete with passive-aggressive interviews and thinly veiled press releases. Will Hawkeye return? Will Thor wield Mjolnir again? Will Black Widow rise from the dead for another flashback cameo? Not if Disney keeps offering them Taco Bell money for Michelin star work. What does this mean for the future of Marvel? How are the fans reacting? What is Disney thinking, and how does this talent exodus lead to the MCU's biggest M game yet at the box office? Spoiler alert, it's not looking good for Team Mouse. The aftershocks and the future. True believers, we're taking a deep dive into MCU's real secret war, the battle between the actors who made Marvel iconic and the billion-dollar mouse who wants them to come back for less than scale, apparently. Now that Jeremy Renner has pulled back the curtain and shown us the great Oz of Bob Iger's cost-cutting empire, we all have to ask, what's going to happen next? What does this mean for Marvel's future? And more importantly, do fans even want a future without the OG Avengers? Spoiler alert, the fans are kind of pissed. The fans aren't stupid. Let's not kid ourselves. Marvel fans might be nerds, but we're nerds with Wi-Fi, memory, and a deep understanding of who deserves the credit. Twitter, X, lit up after Renner's interview with hashtags like hashtag justice for Renner and hashtag Iger pay up, gaining steam. Reddit threads exploding. YouTube comment sections, a mix of rage and hilarious memes like Disney offering Hawkeye Monopoly money, and next season Clint's arrows are sponsored by Dollar Tree. Fans aren't dumb. We know who carried the franchise on their back while Disney was still figuring out how to turn Star Wars into a streaming headache. These actors gave Marvel heart, soul, and in Renner's case, literally blood and broken bones. To tell them, hey, thanks, but we're gonna need you to risk your body again for half the rate is just insulting. And Marvel fans, we do remember. We hold grudges longer than Bucky Barnes. Who's still on board? With Scarlett Johansson suing Disney, Renner declining the offer, Hemsworth taking a big old pause to reassess his health and career, you have to wonder who is even left? Chris Evans? He's out here doing press for Knives Out sequels and voicing Buzz Lightyear. Robert Downey Jr.? The man is finally getting Oscar buzz for something other than snarky one-liners and arc reactor drama, although he is coming back for the role of Doctor Doom for some reason, which just blows my mind, but we'll get into that another time. The original team is either dead in universe, emotionally checked out, or literally being lowballed back into retirement. Marvel's Phase 4 and 5 have already felt like a classroom without a teacher. Now Disney is trying to coax the subs back, but with no chalk, no syllabus, and a paycheck that looks like it was printed on Canva. What this means for the future Marvel projects. This stingy behavior doesn't just impact the original cast, it sends a message to every actor considering joining the MCU moving forward. Hey, come work with us, we'll pay you well, at first. Then we'll offer you half and expect triple the workload once you've injured and emotionally burnt out yourself. What A-list actor looks at that and says, yeah, sign me up for 12 years of VFX hell? We've already seen rising stars start to ghost the Marvel call sheet. Even young talent like Florence Pugh and Jonathan Majors, for entirely different and very messy reasons, have become complicated investments. If Marvel can't retain veterans or attract future stars, we're looking at a franchise made of green screen NCPs. The Disney Dilemma. Bob Iger, to his credit, thinks he's doing what's best for the bottom line, apparently. He's trimming the fat, cutting costs, trying to convince investors that Disney Plus will one day print money like Disneyland churros. But this isn't just business. Marvel is a cultural juggernaut, and cultural juggernauts don't thrive on spreadsheets. They thrive on talent and trust, and their fans. Disney is hemorrhaging goodwill at a time when audiences are more skeptical than ever. Streaming fatigue is real, box office fatigue is real, and now actor fatigue is the cherry on this overstuffed CGI sundae. A possible MCU collapse. Let's now play it forward. If Disney keeps underpaying its core creative talent, we may be heading towards a full-blown MCU collapse. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. Not because the audience stopped caring, but because the magic behind the scenes died. You can't make audiences feel anything if your actors aren't inspired, or worse, aren't even interested. We've all seen those performances. The ones where you know the actor just got there for the check, they say the line, they swing the fake hammer, but the sparkle, it's gone. Now imagine that level of disengagement across multiple series and films. It's like putting the Avengers on autopilot, and we all saw how Age of Ultron turned out. The industry is watching. Hollywood is paying attention too. This Jeremy Renner situation and the way Bob Iger handled it is like a cautionary tale in real time. Studios are realizing that you can't treat actors like disposable parts of an IP machine, especially not in the age of social media receipts. Writers just went on strike, actors just went on strike, and now the biggest superhero factory in the world is showing signs of internet rot, and they have been for a while. If Marvel, with all its money and history, is shortchanging the biggest stars, what hope do smaller studios have to setting a better precedent? This is more than just a Marvel problem. This is a film industry problem, and it's being broadcast in 4K to millions across the world. Where do we go from here? So where does this leave us? Jeremy Renner may never return as Hawkeye. Chris Hemsworth might hang up his hammer. Scarlett Johansson might stick with producing and never touch a Marvel set again. And honestly, good for them. They deserve to be treated with the respect they deserve, with fair pay, with the dignity that comes with knowing their work helped make Disney and Marvel over $29 billion since the very first Iron Man. The fact that Disney seems to have forgotten that is bad enough. The fact they thought we wouldn't notice, it's just insulting. We're entering a weird, uncertain era of MCU. Some fans are already checked out. Others are cautiously watching. I'm already checked out, honestly. But the one thing is clear. The soul of Marvel was never its CGI or its spectacle. It was always the people in the suits. And not the suits behind the desk. The ones wearing them on screen. And if Disney keeps acting like they're replaceable, well, we'll just keep rewatching Infinity War and maybe Endgame, because at least that felt like a team worth rooting for. If you like this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button harder than Thor hits the ground with Mjolnir. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Share this out to all your friends. Do you think Disney is killing the MCU from the inside out? Would you come back as Hawkeye for half the pay after surviving a snowplow accident like that? And hey, if anyone at Disney is rewatching this, maybe next time, just pay the man. Subscribe for more behind the scenes breakdowns, deep dives, and theories into franchises we love, and occasionally roasting corporate billionaires who think actors are just action figures they don't want to pay for. And on Sundays, come join us for Cosmic Theta Theater 2117, my show in the style of Mystery Science Theater 3000, where we roast old movies and have a fun time doing it. May the power protect you all. End of line.